Just a minute. Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the session. So, few of you must have joined yesterday, and I can see some of you have joined today. You're not there in the yesterday session. So, I'll try to give you a basic idea about what we were discussing yesterday. And if you want to go through all the topics that we discussed, all the discussions that we had, so you can access the video of yesterday. It will be provided to you in the chat box. Correct. So now, yesterday was our first session of this 5-day free bootcamp, in which I discussed about what is data science, what is the roadmap you need to follow for data science, and what are the skills, what are the topics you need to know if you're going for the interview, if you're going to apply for the role of data scientist. Those are the things we discussed yesterday. Now, today we are going to start with the Python programming. That is our module number 1. So in these sessions, we are trying to show you whether you're comfortable with these things or not, whether you want to carry forward this boot camp or not. So we will try to have that idea in the upcoming sessions, right? Starting from today. So yesterday, I said that if you want to practice the data science code, there is some tools which you need to install. And one of those tools is, as you can see, I've written here, Google Colab. So you can also search Google Colab on your, simply in the search bar. And this page will open up where you will see this first link, welcome to Collaboratory. So those who have joined today, you can just search for this thing, Google Colab, and see this link. I'll tell you the further steps. Those who were present yesterday, we saw one of the other tools, which was Anaconda package. And I said that you will need to install that if you want to write the code. So Anaconda is actually the offline package where you write the code for data science. And Google Collaboratory is the online system where you write the code. You don't have to do any installation in that case. So if you, for some reason, cannot install that Anaconda package for the offline purpose, so you can use this Google Collaboratory, which is an online service, which is free to use, and you can use this. It is the same environment. Both the things that we are going to use are same things. Just a little bit of differences are there in the interface. So we will have idea about both of them, right? So we are going to start with the today's part, and let's have a discussion about it. So those who have done the installation of Anaconda, few of you might have done. Is there someone who has tried that? Installing Anaconda. I have given you one web page where the steps were mentioned for iOS installation also, and the Windows installation also. So if you have done that, if you have installed that, then I will help you with the further process. If you have not done the installation of it, then we will follow the Google Collaboratory for now, for a few sessions, and then we will go into the details of that. Anyone has done the installation? No one. Okay, no problem. So if you have not done the installation, then just open up this page, which is Welcome to Collaboratory, where you will see this. Search for Google Colab and just click on this link. Once you click on this link, Welcome to Collaboratory, you will see a page opening up in front of you, which is going to be the home page of Google Collaboratory. Now, what exactly is Google Collaboratory? It is an online service given by the Google so that we can write data science related code. Data science related code. So it is a service which is completely online, and you will be having the resources required given by the Google so that you can write the code to practice the things, to make the project, whatever you want, you're going to write that. This is one of the tools which you're going to use industry as, and how we are going to use that same way you're going to use that in the industry also. Exact same process, exact same everything. Just the difference will be that here you're using the free version of it. In your workspace, you're going to have a paid version where you'll have much more features which are given as compared to the free service. So just open up this page, and once you're onto this page, you will see a page like this opening up in front of you. A pop-up like this will open up. From here, you have to click on this new notebook. Okay, everyone must see this new notebook. Just click on that, and a new page will open up. By chance, you are not seeing this window for some reason. You have opened this website and you're not seeing this window, which is in front. Then you must be seeing this window. Okay, sometimes it happens that you don't get to see that front window. You're just seeing this window. So if you're here, then you can go to File and you can just click on New Notebook. That is the same process. So click on the new notebook and let it open a new fresh page for us to write the code. If anyone has any doubt, let me know. I will help you again. Okay, perfect. So let's follow. Yesterday, I was giving some basic idea about the Python programming language. If you're going to write the program for the first time, and if you execute any sort of program, whether it is written in Java language or C language, C++, or Python or Go language, a lot of languages are there. Wherever you're going to write the code, that will be written in a file. And then you're going to run the code which you have written in that. So code is just nothing but a set of instructions that you're giving following a particular pattern. So why that pattern is there? Because if suppose people are there around the world in different countries, so all of them will be working in one company. Let's say if you talk about Microsoft. So Microsoft is there in more than 100 countries. So the people from different countries are working for Microsoft, and they might have a different style of writing the code. So if everyone follows their own different style, then everyone will be confused and no one will be able to understand each other's code. So in that case, a standard procedure has been created, a standard syntax has been created, using which you can write a code which will be standardized for everyone. A person who is in US or Africa is going to write the same code that you are going to write sitting in India or Australia. So that is what the coding system is. That is what the syntax is all about. So when we talk about code, there are some basic syntax that we need to know. And then there are some components of writing a code that we need to write so that a complete procedure can be completed. And you can get an output of whatever you want to do. So in that case, this file that I have opened up is one of those files where we will write the code, we will execute the code, and we will be able to see the results of that. Now, so one thing I was discussing, I'll revise it once again, is that whenever you're writing the code and whenever you have to execute the code, right? So the introduction part I have given in the yesterday session very properly. So that was 1.5 hour session. You can go through that. The link will be provided in the chat box. You can see a WhatsApp group is there. You can join that and you will find all the links, all the recorded videos of the sessions. And there is a comprehensive discussion we have. Now, when we talk about executing the code. So in that process, what happens? You need some resources of your computer system to be able to run the code, to be able to execute the code. So what are those resources? Those resources are, one, you need a hard drive, plus you need something called as a RAM. These are the two things which is required whenever you write the code. Now, this is a basic computer science knowledge. If you have not been through that computer science degree, then you would not know these things. So we are going to discuss about these terminologies also so that you become comfortable with the technical details of programming world. These are very simple. So the very first thing is you need hard drive and RAM. Now, when you use the tool, which is called Anaconda, which is another one, I will show you once again how you have to install that. In that case, Anaconda is an offline service. This offline service is installed on your local system. And what happens in that case? You will be able to use that without the internet connection also. You'll be able to write the code, you will be able to run it. So when you write the code in Anaconda, so it uses our hard drive space to store the data and RAM to run the code. But if you're using this Google Colab, this is an online service, it does not use our local system, our hard drive and RAM to run the code. From where it is going to use? Since it is a Google related service, so it will use the Google's resources for running the code. These things I've discussed in more detail in yesterday's session. Google's resources. So hard drive will be given by Google to us, and RAM also will be given to us through an online connection, and we will be able to run that code in this online service. So let's see how that whole process goes through. Now, if you look at the structure, there is one black colored line we have. Now, this black colored line is called a cell. Cell. So this is a code cell where you're going to write the code, and that should follow a proper syntax of Python. When you write the code, it is going to execute that code. If you write incorrect syntax, then it is not going to execute that code. That is the basic idea. So let's see, when we write a very basic Python code, and that is going to be print hello. Suppose. So what do we do when you write the code? There is a play button on the left side of it. So you have to click on that play button and you will be able to see the execution of it. So now, once you click on this play button, you have to focus on this thing. For now, it is written connect. But as I click on this play button at this point, so what will happen? It will now start to connect. Connect where? It is going to start to connect to the Google server. So that from there, it is going to take some hard drive space and it is going to take some RAM from the Google server so that we can make use of that to run our code. So now it is connecting, it has connected, and you can see RAM and disk is showing to us, which is now the resource of Google. That you can see. Now we have got the execution. This is the output of the code that we have written. We have said that print this text hello. So it is showing that text hello printed to us. That is the most basic code we have written. You can also try. It is the same thing you need to write. Make sure this P is capital. We will discuss more about that, but make sure that all of this thing is small, small case. The way I have written, you have to write exactly like that. Now, so why are we using this system? See, for different purpose, different tools are there in the industry whenever you have to write the code. Suppose if you are working as a normal Python developer, you don't want to work as a data scientist. Your task is to develop softwares. Your task is to develop web applications, websites using Python or JavaScript or any other language. So there are different tools. One of the very common tool is called Visual Studio Code. Okay, this is one of the platforms. This is one of the softwares where you can write the code of different programming languages, and you will see the execution done on that. Very famous one. There also you write the code, you execute the code, you see the results. And this is also one of the platform, Google Colab, which is basically used by data scientists specifically, not by any other person. If someone is working on Android software or they are making iOS applications or someone is making website, then this is not what we are going to use. Then we will be using a tool which is called Visual Studio Code. So what do they do for us? These tools that we see are called IDEs. Okay, IDEs. What is IDEs? Basically, they are called integrated. You don't have to remember this, just for a basic idea, I'm telling you all these things. It is called integrated development environment. Correct? Environments. Integrated development environments. So these all the tools which are called IDEs, they have everything which you need to run the code. So that if anything fails, you don't have to install all the things separately for the execution of the code. When you run the code, you're seeing the basic things in front of you, but in the background, a lot of things are happening. How the memory has to be managed, how much memory is going to be taken. If you're deleting something, how the deletion will happen. So all the things, all the management is done behind, a lot of things are happening behind. But we don't have to care about that. Our computer systems are much more advanced that they will take care of that. Plus, these IDs make it more easier for our computer systems to do those things. So these are integrated development environment, which is basically collection of different systems, which is going to help us for a smoother execution of the code. And we can see the outputs. Now, so the Google Colab that I'm also using is also one of the IDs where we write the code. What is the next thing? So whenever you have to write the code, there is this one cell. I can write any lines of code that I want. Just press enter and you can write more and more lines of code. That we will see. But suppose if you want to write code in another cell, you don't want to write more code in this same cell, you want to have another box. So there is a plus code button here. Once you click on this plus code, you will have another cell where you can write another code. So now when you're writing the code, what happens is you can write everything in this one cell itself. No problem. There is no issue in that. Everything can be written. But when you break it down into multiple cells, then what happens is it becomes easier for us to read that code, for us to manage that code. So if some problem happens, then what will happen? If I run this cell, it will show that there is a problem in this particular cell. So I can go to just that particular cell and I can fix that issue instead of looking for one cell where a lot of lines are written. Right? Suppose I have written in this cell only, I have written 2000 lines of code. 2000 lines. Now, if some problem happen, then this cell will show me error that somewhere in these 2000 lines of code, there is a problem. But instead of that, what I do, I break down these 2000 lines of code of, let's say, 50 lines I will write in one cell and 50, 50, 50. So 50 into 40, 40 cells I'll create and 50, 50 lines of code will be. Now it can be less or more, but what will happen in that case, the management of the code will become easier because I will know that out of those 40 cells, where exactly the problem is, and I can go to that particular cell and fix it. So it will become very easy for us to fix that bug. Now, so I can create any number of code cells that I want. There is no limitation. I have to just click on plus code. Apart from that, the advantage of using this Google Collaboratory and also Anaconda plus the Google Colab that we are using, they both are used in the industry. Anaconda is the offline tool, Google Colab is the online. So you have to use any one of them, or you can use both of them. So they are doing the same thing, they're same systems. So what they do, they are, you can say, the most famous tools which exist in the data industry. What is the advantage of them? The advantage of them is that they help you write the code in a notebook format. Okay, they help you write the code in a notebook format. What do we mean by notebook format? So think about a physical notebook where papers are there and you have a lot of pages are there. In that thing, what you can do, you can decorate. If you're writing something in that, you can have headings. You can write heading in different color. You can write the paragraphs in other color. You can have bigger headings, smaller text. You can draw something, or you can paste some images on your notebook. Right. So apart from the code, different decorations can be done so that your code becomes easy to understand and it looks beautiful also. So these two tools are specifically used in the data science industry because data science is all about storytelling. The better a storyteller you are, the better you are able to represent a messed up data in a story format. That is the advantage you're going to get. The more you're going to have success in the data industry, the better storyteller you are. So since we have to do storytelling, because of that reason, we need some software which can help us to do that storytelling. If I'm using any tool where I am able to write only code, I'm not able to decorate that thing. So I will not be able to do the storytelling very properly. But if I have anything where I can have the code also, I can put the paragraphs also, I can include the URLs also, so that I can refer to something when I want. I can paste the images also, right? In this thing, in this Anaconda Google Colab, we have those support that apart from code, we can have a lot of things that is written. We can change the color of the headings. We can change the size of the headings. We can make something bold, something italic, something underline we can do. So we will see one by one all of those things, and you will see that how easy they become to handle and to write the code. That is what it is. So data science is all about storytelling. And that is how we are also going to study this whole course. I'm not going to bore you with the PPTs and all. Whatever we will study, it is going to be theoretical concept or mathematical concept or any code that we're going to write. We will study everything in a, you can say that story way. Now, so what happens in this case is, why did I discuss that with you? There is a particular thing which is written plus text. Now, what do we mean by plus text? So plus text, if I click on that, it is going to create another box, which is going to be different from plus code. In this case, in this cell, whatever you are going to write is going to be anything apart from the code. So let's suppose I want to write a heading, which is not a code. I just write a normal text, which I want to make it as a heading. So let's say I mentioned introduction to Python and data science. I mentioned introduction to Python and data science. So this thing that I've written, it is going to make it as a text. Correct. So if I run it now, you will observe that there is a text written. It is not a code. It is just a normal text which is there with you. Now, same thing, if I want to put it, let's say, above the print hello. I want this cell to be the first cell. So if you look at it, there is an arrow button, right? On the right side, you have the arrow button. You select this cell first, click on this arrow button, it will start to go up. Correct. Keep pressing this arrow button. And now I have taken it, it was somewhere at the bottom, but I have changed its location to go up and down in that case. If I press the down arrow button, I'll be able to shift it downwards. Now, so in this way, it becomes very easy for us to shift the code upwards and downwards whenever I want. Now, this is a normal code. If I want to make this same code as a heading, then what will I do? The first thing is, when you have written this text, how do you execute it? How do you run it? So to run it, you have to press Shift plus Enter. There is a Shift button. And if you look at the right side of your keyboards, you will see Shift and Enter are together. Enter button will be there, and just below that Enter button, Shift will be there. In the case of MacBooks, you will have a Return button at the place of Enter. So press Enter, and while pressing press Shift first, and while pressing Shift, press the Enter. Then what will happen? This code that we have written here, it will be executed, and it will look like this now. Right? Now. So I was saying that this is a normal code, and I want to have it as a heading. So what will I do to make it heading? To make it heading, I have to add a symbol called as pound symbol or hash symbol. whatever you say, it is pound or hash, something we say like that. Now add that symbol and then put a space between that symbol and the text that you have one space, only one space. After having that one space, you again run the code. And now you will observe that that particular code, which was written little bit smaller, now that has become larger. So what has happened with that symbol, we have converted this text, a normal looking text, into a heading, which you are using. Right? So you can see the heading which is there. Has anyone tried that? And anyone trying with me? If you have any doubt, if you're stuck on something, let me know. I'll help you with that. Okay, great. Try this. Now, so there is one hash symbol I've written. If I want to make this heading little bit smaller, you can see if I write one hash symbol, one pound symbol, then it will make the highest heading, which we can get, largest heading. If you want to reduce the size of the heading, then what I need to do, instead of this one pound symbol that I have, I need to add double pound symbol. So it will become one level lower than that. Its size will reduce. If you look at it, now the heading, it is also a heading. It is bigger than the normal text, but it is a second level heading. Not the largest, but second largest. If I put one more pound symbol, 3 pound symbols are now. So it will make it even small. So how many we can go? We can go till 4 pound symbols. That is the smallest heading we are going to get. After that, whatever we are going to write, that will be normal text. So level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. And we have to write these pound symbols to control that levels of heading. How much should be the size of that? Now, let's say if I want to decorate it, it is now in just normal white color, the default color which is there. If I want to say decorate it, so what will I mention here? Just have a look. I will mention like this font color. Yeah, any question? Okay, no issues. So if I mention font color is equal to, let's say, maroon, if I mention. And if you run that, now you see it is in maroon color. So it is not visible. Let's have green color. Now you can see it is in green color. Similarly, if I mention any other color, which is say cyan color, so you will see that it is now in cyan color. So this is a basic format. This is a text cell, which is different from a code cell. And here we can write whatever we want, which is not code. Apart from code, I can write anything. So that was one example that I can have a text written. So I can make the text heading by adding these symbols. And once I made that heading, if I want to decorate it, I have the decoration option. Basically by giving the color, that is the first decoration that I get. Right? Now you run it. You can see this decoration. Next thing. Suppose I also want to have an image here. I want to bring an image, which is a representation of whatever problem I'm trying to solve. Let's say I'm making a project, and on the internet, there is an image, which is representing the project that I'm doing. It is explaining a process that I'm doing. So I can bring that image here into this notebook file to help the other person understand what I was trying to do. Let's see, how do we get that image? You have to click on plus text again. Okay, you have to click on plus text. And if you look at, there is a option. There is this symbol which is going to help you for image. Right now, just a minute. So if you click on this particular symbol, it is going to give you the images. the option to upload the images in this place, right? Now, when you click on this button, it will give you an option to upload that image from your local system, from your laptops, from your desktop. From there, you will be able to do that. But if you want to fetch an image directly from internet, from some website, then how can you do that? Let's look at that. So first thing, you need to write this symbol, which is exclamation mark. Then you have to write this thing, which is called Python image. This is a normal text, which I'm writing in this square bracket. After square bracket, we have to have a round bracket. In that round bracket, I have to give the location of a file which is there on internet. Every file has a URL, a location on the internet. So I will give that location. Let's see. Just a minute. So I will search for Python image. You go to images. Once you're onto the images, then open up one of the small images, which will be easy to bring it here. It is quite large. See another one. Yeah, let's bring this. Open image in a new tab. Now see what I've done. I have taken that image and I just right click on it and I open it in a new tab. So when I open it in a new tab, I can see the URL. It is the location of that file on the internet. It is stored somewhere. So everything that you see on the internet has some sort of locations. That is called URL. So you copy this location. And once you copy this location, you have to come here and you have to paste it. I'll share this location with you. URL with you. You just paste it. As you paste it, now you can see already a preview is showing to you. Then you press Shift plus Enter to execute this. And now you will see the image which has been bought here in your notebook file. Now, whatever was the size of that image, that same size is showing to you. If you take up a smaller size image, that smaller size image will be shown. So we can change the size of it. We will talk about that also. But you can see this is our heading. This is the image file that I have got from internet into my notebook file. And then I have the further code which I wanted to have. Let me show you again what was the code I have written. So first exclamation mark I have written. After the exclamation mark, in the square bracket, I have mentioned this. There is a square bracket where I mentioned Python image. Python image is nothing but a name given to this. Suppose this image is not loading for some reason. So it will be like a backup text which will be shown that at this place there was a Python image. So it is going to act like a backup image text. After that, this is the URL of that particular file which I want to bring it here. And you run it. Now you will see that you have that image in front of you. Right? If anyone is stuck, you are trying, then let me know. I'll help you with that. Perfect. So all good till now. Shall we move forward if you don't have any questions? Okay. Now let's see one more thing. There is very similar to how I got this image. Very similar to that, I can have a URL also, a link basically, which will refer to a particular page on the internet. So just click on plus text. Another text is open up for us. Now here, you can write a statement to install Anaconda on, let me write a text, to install Anaconda on Windows. Follow the instructions mentioned here. So what I want, that word here should become a URL. It should not be a normal text. When I click on that word here, it should lead me to some page. What is going to be that page? That page is going to be the page where instructions are mentioned to install the Anaconda. So let us see how we are going to do that. First, I'm going to search for that particular page, which is Anaconda installation. So once I search for Anaconda installation, then I have this page where the first URL is this, installing on Windows. Now, once you see this installing on Windows, you click on that. And this is that link. This is that URL. If you open this URL, if you click on this URL, every time you should come onto this page. You should land onto this page. So let's copy this URL. I will share it with you also so that you can try. I copied this URL. Then I'll go here and I can see to install Anaconda in Windows, follow the instruction mentioned. You now make a bracket, square bracket. In this square bracket, you mention that word here because I want that word here to become a URL. After you mention that word here, you make a round bracket now. In the round bracket, you have to paste that URL that I mentioned with you. So this is going to be that word which will be visible to us, but it will not be a normal word. It will be a hyperlink. It will be a URL which will lead to that page whenever I click. Now run this. Right? Shift and enter, run it. So what was the format? Take a look. To install Anaconda on Windows, follow the instruction mentioned here. I've mentioned that word in the square bracket. Then in the round bracket, I've pasted the link which I've shared with you. You run that. And you can see here is a word, but it is not a normal word like all the other words. It is now a hyperlink. As soon as I click on that, it will lead me to the page, which is going to be that page. So you click on this one and you can see this page. Correct? Perfect. So that way, where is it going to help us? If suppose I am solving a data science project, which is, let's say, related to credit card fraud detection, or let's say it is related to loan approval, which person should be given a loan, which person should not be given a loan. If I'm making a project related to that particular topic, so I'm writing a lot of code. There might be some documentation on the internet, which I want the other people to refer to. If anyone is reading my code, I want them to refer to a research paper maybe, or any related article so that they can study in more depth about that particular topic if anyone is interested. Correct? Also, I can have the images like that, which will help me explain the things that I have done. I can make the image myself also. I can go to the paint and I can create an image where I'm showing the path that I followed. I did this, then I did the second step, I did the third step. I can create an image myself also, and I can upload it on this place so that anyone can see this and they can understand in the image what steps I have taken to make that project. So these are some things which is going to make writing the code very fun and not boring in this case, in the field of data science. So that is why, because of these extra features that you have, obviously any code you will be able to write, and that is going to run perfectly fine. But apart from that, you will have the other things also where you can write the other code, and you will be able to see the headings which are there. You will be able to see the URLs and the images also. Correct? I hope till now everything should be perfect. Just you can mention in the chat box also as a yes if you are clear with everything. Okay, interesting, right? Now, so this was an introduction about this one platform, which is Google Colab. Same thing, I'm now going to show you on the Jupyter Notebook part, right? Same thing, because you are going to use both the tools in the industry. So you need to have an introduction about both the platforms. So let's go to that. How do we use the Anaconda? First, yesterday I discussed if you want to do the installation of the Anaconda, you have to go to this link where I say download Anaconda. And I have shared this link with all of you. If you go to this URL, according to the operating system that you have on your system, the default operating system, if you go to this link, you will automatically see a download button, which is specifically for your operating system. If you are using Mac OS, then automatically you'll have a button for Apple. If you are using Windows, you will have a button for Windows. And if you are using Linux, you'll have a symbol for Linux. If by chance you are not seeing that symbol, that particular symbol, so you click on the symbols below, by chance if it is not right. So you take this URL and you have to click on it. You have to download it. Once you download it, like you must have downloaded a lot of applications like that, it will be an exe file. You just have to double click on that exe file. Once you double click on the exe file, the installation process will start. And what you have to do in that installation process, you can follow this documentation which is mentioned to you. This one, just a minute. Yeah, this documentation you can follow to do the installation properly. Stepwise, everything is mentioned. First step, second step, third step, fourth step, whatever you have to do, where you have to click what, all the things are mentioned. It is going to be very easy for you to follow those things. If you want to do for Mac OS, on the left side, you will see for Mac OS, installing on Linux, different things are there. Now, once you have done the installation, what is Anaconda? Anaconda is a bigger package. It is not one single tool. It is collection of multiple tools which are going to help you for different purpose. So Anaconda is not just a collection of data science related tools. It has code, it has the tools which is going to help us for website development also, the other software development also. Different tools are there. So if I show you Anaconda Navigator, once you install that, and if you search for Anaconda, you will see something like this, Anaconda Navigator. You click on that Anaconda Navigator. As you click on it, the main page of Anaconda will open up where all the services which are there inside of the Anaconda will be visible to you. All of them we don't have to use. If you have Anaconda already present, you just search here and it will be there. You will not have it automatically if you have never installed it before. Correct? This is not something which is by default in our operating system. Correct? You have to install it. If you have never done the installation, it will not be there. So if you want to check, just if you write Anaconda, so you will see something related to that. Correct? Now, now this is the page where you can see all the different tools which are there in that particular package, which we call as Anaconda. So there is something called as DataSpell, DataLore, IBM Watson Studio Cloud, VS Code, Spider, PowerShell. So out of these tools, which one we have to use mostly? We are going to use this tool, which is called Jupyter Notebook. From all the collection, all the different tools given to us. For now, on the individual level, we are going to use this Jupyter Notebook. Only this one thing you need to know. The other things are optional. When you go to industry, sometime you will be needing to use this DataSpell or the DataLore, but not every time. Most of the time, you will be using this Jupyter Notebook, like 90% of the time. So you can just close it. We don't need it anymore. If I want to use Jupyter Notebook, just that one tool, how do I open the Jupyter Notebook just? So from there also, I could have clicked on launch. There was a launch button just below the Jupyter Notebook to open that. But also there is an easier way where I go to the start menu. And in the start menu, I just have to search for Jupyter. Jupyter. Right, sorry. You need to say Jupyter. So Jupyter Notebook is the tool. Once you write that, if you see this Jupyter Notebook, you have to click on that. As soon as you click, then what will happen next is you will see a black box like this opening. Right, like this. Every one of you will see the next thing. This black box will open. It will take few minutes, like 1 or 2 minutes it will take. If your laptop is very old, if your processor is very old, it might take 5-7 minutes. But if you have a new laptop, it is going to take like 30 seconds to 1 minute to open it. Once it is done, then automatically, after 1 or 2 minutes, automatically, a page will open up in one of your default browsers. Suppose, what is your default browser? No, once you install Anaconda, automatically this Jupyter Notebook will be inside of that. Correct, yes. Because that is one tool included inside. So Jupyter will be installed. Only an Anaconda you have to install. So once you install that, once you open that Jupyter Notebook, this page will open up. What this black box is doing, it is starting a local server for us. What that local server is going to do, that local server is going to give us access to different tools, which is going to help Jupyter Notebook to run our code. So it is kind of making your computer system ready, and it is collecting all the resources so that you can write the code. So after this last line, it will take 1 or 2 minutes, like I said. And after this, what will happen in your default browser? Your default browser can be Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome or Safari or Firefox. In one of those browsers, this page will open up where the location is going to be localhost / automatically. After 1 or 2 minutes, you don't have to do anything. Automatically, it will open. Once this opens up, then what is this? This is the home page of the Jupyter Notebook where we are going to write the code, where we are going to store the code. So this is the interface. Every one of you will see the same interface wherever you are using this thing. Now, what we have here, it is nothing but it is representation of one of the folders of our computer system only. Which folder? So let me show you that. If you go to Windows C, I'm showing for Windows. In Windows C, there is a users folder. If you click on the users folder, then you will see a profile of your name. When you have done the installation of Windows for the first time, you might have created your own profile. So this is my profile, which I'm currently using, where I'm logged in. So if I open this one, I can see some folders are here, like 4 November DS batch, 18 November DS batch, and then different folders are there. This same folder is being shown to you in this Jupyter Notebook now page. You can see 18 November, 23 September, 4 November. So these same that folder is visible here. Now that is the default location where your files are going to be saved, which is related to Jupyter Notebook. All the files. So if you have to search for the file, you will see that file present here itself. You want to delete it, you want to modify it, you want to open it, everything will be in this place. Now, like I said, this is an offline tool. Even if you close your Wi-Fi connections, internet connection, then also this is going to run. So you can write your code, whatever is needed. All the things are there in your on offline service. What do we do here? You can do the installation later also, or you can start the download process now. What do we do here? Once we are onto this page, we will click onto this button on the right side, written as new. As you click on new, you will see a drop-down open up for you. The first option will be Python 3, then text file, folder, terminal. What we want is, I want to have a new Python 3 file. What is Python 3? What does that Python 3 means? So Python has different versions like Java, C, C++. Every language has versions. Means Suppose when the Python or Java was created for the first time, this is a programming language. Do you think the same things would be existing today also? The same features which was created for the first time? Obviously not. They would have been updated. A lot of new features have been added since the time it was launched for the first time. Similarly, Python was also launched 30 years ago. And during those 30 years, a lot of updations have happened. So when it started for the first time, we had Python 1, right? Python 1. So then Python 1.1, Python 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, then 2, 2.1, 2.3, 2.4. In today's time, what we have is we are using now Python 3, Python 3.11. So it is a lot of updations have gone through. Python has gone through a lot of updations, and we are using the Python 3.11 version in today's time. Now, so when you click on new, it will show you Python 3. Python 3 basically means the latest version of Python we are using for writing the code. So when I click on new, I just have to click on Python 3. You clicked on Python 3, a new page will open. Now this page is the same interface that you have seen on the Google Colab also. Let me go to the Google Colab. So just a minute. Right, so I had this Google Colab. Now in this Google Colab, at the top, if you observe, there is untitled7.ipynb that is written. Then file, edit, view, insert, a lot of things are written. And then we are writing the code, right? So at the top, this is the name of the file on which I am working. If I want to change it, let's say this file, I want to have a name, which is Python basics.ipynb. .ipynb should be there because that is the extension of that particular file. If you change the extension of the file, it will not work. So you write the name Python basics, then .ipynb, that is the name of the file. So by this name, it will be identified. Similarly, if you go to the Jupyter notebook, at the top, you will see untitled written. In your case, it might be untitled 1, untitled 2, but something like this will be written. If you want to change the name of the file, you click on it and you will have to click on Python. Now, once I write the Python, or I can write Python basics, then I will click on rename to change the name of the file. So there is already a file by the name Python basics. So let me have it Jupyter notebook basics. Okay. Jupyter notebook basics. Let me run it. No such. Untitled.ipynb. Yes. Okay. Right. So renaming has been done. Now, after the renaming has been done, we are going to write the code starting from this cell, this box that you're seeing. This is the same thing which we have seen as a cell in the Google Colab. Now, this file, this Jupyter Notebook Basics, is stored on our local system, on our laptops or desktop, if you're using that. Where is this file stored now? This Google Colab file, the Python basics that I'm seeing. Any guesses where this file might be stored? Is it on our local system, this file also, or is it somewhere else? Any guesses if you want to have? Now, let me tell you, this is an online service, right? And it is given by the Google. This system is all given by the Google. It is a website. So this file is going to be stored on our Google Drive. Right? Google Drive is the storage which is there, that is given by the Google. So if this file is going to be stored, it is going to be stored on Google Drive. And if I have to open up, it will be present. Once I open the Google Collaboratory, it will be mentioned on the home page of that. Let me show you that it will be mentioned there. It will be present there. Let me open up Google Colab once again after saving that file. So once I go to Google Colab and I click on this website once again. So once you click on that, the first page will open up. There you will see the file by the name Python Basics that has been created. So this is stored on your Google Drive for the permanent time. Anytime you create a file, all will be stored by default and you can have access to that. That is not going to be deleted. You're not going to lose that file. So even if anything happens to your laptop, the code that you have written on Google Colab is always going to be safe and secure. That is why in the industry, you will use this Google Colab more than using the Jupyter Notebook. Because here your code is going to be secure and other people can also look at your code and they can collaborate on it directly with you. You can share this code with the other people and they can collaborate on it. You can also write the code. Other person can also write the code on the same file because it is an online service. But that is not possible in Jupyter Notebook. Since that is an offline service, I cannot share that thing as a collaborative service to other person. Now, so let's have a look at how things are done here. What are the basic systems here? If you look at here are also some file, edit, view, insert, all things are mentioned. And then you will have some icons which are doing something. Let's write our first line of code, which is the print hello we were doing. Now, sorry, I have a little bit of cough problem today. So that is why I'm pausing a little bit in the beginning. Now, when I have this print hello and I run the code, you will see that being printed for us. How did I execute the code which I've written here? Again, I can press Shift plus Enter to execute the code, or I can take the cell and click on this Run button. That will also help us to execute the code when I click on the Run button. This is called a code cell. By default, this is going to be a code cell. How do you create a code cell now? More and more of it. There's a plus button on this side, which is going to create a code cell for us. Now, there is no option to directly create a text cell. Like there was a plus text, but that plus text is not available directly in this case. Then what if I want to write a text? See, this is a code cell for now. And if I write this introduction to Python and data science. Now, since this is a code cell, what is Jupyter Notebook expecting? That this thing that you've written is one of the Python code. It is expecting that it to be a Python code. But it is not a Python code. It is a normal statement I've written. So if I write anything which is not code in a code cell and I try to execute it, it will show you an error. That this is an invalid syntax. I don't understand what you have written. Since this is obviously not following the Python syntax. So how do I write it as a text? Because by default, I don't have any option to create a text cell. What you need to do, you need to create a code cell first by clicking on this plus button. Select that cell and go to this option here where you see this drop down code written. First, you have to select that cell. I've selected the cell number 3. Select that, go to this part, and you have to click on Markdown. Once you click on Markdown, then you will see that something was written on the left side in with a number that was written. That is gone. And you can see it is mentioned as a Markdown. Now, Markdown is one kind of cell, which is the same as the text cell. Now, Markdown is basic, you can say, language. And what does it help us to do? It is going to help us to write the statements, paragraph, the URLs, the images that I want to bring it here. It is going to help me for that. It is some kind of language itself, you can say. So once I took that cell, converted it to Markdown, that thing is gone. It tells me that now it is ready for writing anything apart from the code. So when I execute it now, when I try to run it now, it is perfectly working, and you can see this is a statement. Same thing, if I want to take it downwards or upward, select the cell first now. You have the arrow button. So you can change its place by clicking on this arrow button. Very simple to handle. Now, same thing I want to convert into heading, like I was showing. So you just double click on it, then it will go into edit mode by double clicking on that. Once you double click on that, before the code, before this text that you have written, you need to attach the pound symbol. But when you attach the pound symbol, nothing will happen. You will not see any difference. But as you press a space, you separate the pound symbol with the text. There should be one space between these two. So once you do that, then you will see it is written in a larger format. And you execute now, you will see up the largest heading that is possible in the Jupyter Notebook. Largest heading. If I want to make the heading little bit smaller and smaller and smaller, so attach 2 pound symbol to take it to the level 2 heading. Attach 3 pound symbol to make it even smaller, 4 symbols to make it even smaller. So level 1 to level 4, we go. If I have the 5th one, so 5th one is going to have a heading, but it will be in italic format. It will not be like forward proper. So you have to just go basically from 1 to 4. Right? Now, why do we use this thing? So if we use this thing to mention the topics, then subtopic, then subtopic. That way you will be able to have that have that procedure. So let's say this is the main topic. So I will have the biggest heading. Then I am writing the subheading in this case. So I will write the subheading with double pound symbols, which is little smaller than that. I will make one more cell, convert it to markdown. Then I will have 3 pound symbols to have even smaller heading, subheading. Or I can say let's subheading if I mention. So you have even smaller. So now you're going from the largest to the smallest heading that we have, step by step. So that helps us to identify that which is the main topic and which is the part of that main topic. Now, let's see the decoration part. So there was a decoration part I was showing. As you can see, by default, this headings and all is in black color. What if I want to decorate? Let's have the decoration also. So I want to have this in maroon color, red color, green color, whatever I want. I want to have it in a color. So I will mention this 2 symbol, less than, greater than. Inside of it, in the middle of that, I will mention font color is equal to, in quotes, in single quote, or you can have double quote. So inside the quotes, you have to mention that color. So if I want to make it green color, I will mention green. And once you mention that, you run it, you will observe that your font has been converted into green color to just make it beautiful to see. So font color green. And how is this going to help us? When you're writing a lot of code in one file, your code could be like 2,000 lines of code, 5,000 lines of code, 10,000 lines of code in one file itself. So there, let's say the main topics, if you want to identify, you can decide that all the main headings will be in red color, all the subheadings will be in green color, and all the subheadings will be in, let's say, sky blue color, let's say. So that way you will be able to understand what all topics are the main headings, what all topics are the subheadings, and what all topics are the subheadings. That will help you easily to identify that in a visual format. Correct. So these are the things which make coding fun and easy to understand using the Jupyter Notebook and Google Colab. Now let's bring the images and the URLs here. We'll not do a lot of things today. Just we are going to see the basic things. Let's see. Now, let's bring that image that we were talking about. Now, wherever you want to make a cell, let's say there was no cell here. I want to have a cell just below this. So you select that cell first and then click the plus button. Then it will create a new cell just below that first cell. Once you have that particular cell, then what do you do from this? You are going to convert this into text part, into Markdown if you want to write anything else. If you want to write the code, you can write the code directly. So I want to have images, which is not the code. So I'll take this cell, go to this place, convert to Markdown. Now this is ready to have an image. Same syntax I'll follow. Exclamation mark. In this, I will mention Python image. This is going to be the backup text. In case that is not visible, the image is not visible for some reason, not able to load. This is going to be the backup text. I can write anything. It is not going to be that. If I want to write, I can write Batman also. But what I'm writing should be the representation of what type of image is that. Now, so in this round bracket, I will mention that URL of the image that I want to load here. Let's have a look at that image file. This was the image file. Let me paste it for you. You can copy it from the text chat box, and you can also paste. Just paste that. It should look like a URL, and then you run it. As you run it, it is going to load that file from that place on the internet into your Jupyter notebook. So basically, you're loading it here. And once you are writing anything, you are loading this image here. The file size of this file, the Jupyter Notebook Basic, since the image you have loaded into this particular notebook, so file size of this Jupyter Notebook Basic will keep increasing. The more and more code you write, the more and more images you load, more and more paragraphs you're writing, more and more URLs you're writing. Everything is going to increase the size of the file, which is this Jupyter Notebook. Correct? So let me show you. You double click on that and it will go into the edit mode. Okay. Right. So this week we will try to keep the sessions a little bit smaller, so that you first get comfortable with the longer time frame of studying those things. I'll not go 2 hours for now. We will just see 10, 12 more minutes, and then tomorrow we'll start from the same point. Next. So after having this image, the same way you can bring the URLs also. What you need to do for the URLs, you can mention, you can open up a cell and then convert this cell to a Markdown first, then mention the installation of Anaconda can be done by following the steps mentioned. Now here is the word which I want to make as a URL. So what I will do, I will say mention. I'll have a square bracket. In that square bracket, I will mention the word which I want to convert. Then a round bracket. In that round bracket, I want to paste that link. So that is already in the chat box. You can paste it. Now you run it. See, a very basic difference between the URLs and the images is that in the image file, you will see I have an exclamation mark, then a square bracket, then a round bracket. But what will you see here is that I don't have the exclamation mark. I have the square bracket, then the round bracket in which I'm mentioning the URLs. So the difference between images and the URLs is that I have to mention this exclamation mark. So you should use this exclamation mark in only those cases when you're loading the images. Don't use it for the URLs, right? So now you run this code. This is the image file. And here without the exclamation mark, the URL. Now, when you click on that, it is going to lead you to that particular page, which was the reference you have given. And we are on to this page. Now, next thing. So we have seen the basic introduction about what this Jupyter Notebook. We have seen the basic introduction of what this Colab is, Google Colab is, what systems they are using, what resources they are using, how different things are written, how text is written, how code is written, what are all the components we have seen. Now, a basic thing I will tell you so that we can continue from this point tomorrow also. Let's say when we talk about the code. Before talking about the code, you need to know why we are using Python specifically for data science. Can data science not be done in other languages? A lot of people are there who have done other languages before they get into data science. There might be some software developer who was working with Java. There might be some person who might have a good understanding of C++ language. Someone might have done C. So they ask generally that can we not do data science in those languages? What is the problem with that? There's no problem. You can do data science in those languages, but what happens is you don't have those kind of support to write the code which you have in Python. Also, the code which you're going to write to do a certain process, to do a certain analysis on the data, you are going to write 10 to 20 times more code in other languages as compared to Python. If in a Python you want to do something, for that same thing in Java, let's say there is 25 lines of code you're writing. Right? There is a task which you're doing, which is related to analysis task. And you have written 25 lines of code in Java. Same thing if you do in Python. So there is a very high chance that that same thing can be done in just one single line. Just one single line. This is the kind of difference I'm talking about. Why this happens in one single line? What is the good thing about that? The reason for that is there is something called as libraries or packages. This is the reason because of which I'm saying that this kind of difference is there. Correct? Now, so Java and other languages are not bad thing. Just it is the case that the languages like Java, C++ are used for different purpose. If I have to create a software in the real world, a very big software, I will go with Java. If I suppose I have to create a website in the real world, I will go with the language JavaScript. So every language has its own advantages, which is useful for one certain task, one particular task. Similarly, Python is used for different domains, but it is one of the best languages for data science. What is the reason for that? Something called as libraries and packages are there. What are libraries and packages? In a very simple to understand statement, libraries and packages are collection of pre-written code. Right? Pre-written code. So what happens is that someone has already written the code for us, which we are going to do in the data science. What we need to do, we just need to know where that code is written. And I can bring that code into my notebook file by just doing one simple process. I will be able to transfer the code from that file into my notebook file and I can do the task. And that is going to take just one single line of code. So these pre-written code are written by the developers who have created these packages, libraries for us. And we just have to make sure we understand where these code are written. And that everything you will study, wherever you study the data science, those packages, libraries which are needed for you will be all taught to you. Right? Here also, we will go into details of that. Now, so that is the main difference. That is the main reason. The other advantage if you learn Python is that Python is used for other languages or other tools also, tasks also. With Python, you can do web development. with Python, you can do IoT devices you can create. You can write the code for running the IoT devices, the smart sensors that you see. You can do cyber security thing, the ethical hacking that you know, that can also be done with Python. Python is the topmost language for ethical hacking, cyber security also. You can create the game development also is possible because of Python language. So Python is one language which is used in multiple industry, multiple domains, and it has become very popular mainly because of data science and machine learning. So data science, data engineering, machine learning, research analysis, business analysis, for all of these things, we have Python, which is going to help us. Now, so if you want to start any programming language, be it Python, be it Java, JavaScript, C++, most of the components are same. If you learn Java, you can learn other language. If you learn Python, you can learn the other language. That is going to be very easy for you, right? So that is not the difficult part. So we will discuss about that. Just give me 2 minutes. I will continue. Just 2 minutes. Right. So now I will discuss few basic things, and then from that point, we will continue tomorrow. When you get into the programming world, there are, as I said, many of the components will be same. So if you learn Python language, it will take like 1 week to 10 days to switch to another language, right? So tomorrow, let's say you want to do website development, you want to learn that also. So for that purpose, you have JavaScript language. So the components will be same, the concepts will be same, which will be lot of things will be related to Python. You'll just need to spend 1 week to 10 days to learn that particular syntax for that language, and your task will be done. Now, if you have to understand the programming thing, just for 5 minutes, we'll see. What do we do in that case? The most basic thing in any language, where do you start, is something called as a literal. What is a literal now? So literal is the most basic component of the programming thing. It is nothing but the data that you're going to use. It is the representation, visual representation of that. Suppose I want to use this data, which is 18, or I want to use this word Python, or I want to use another data, which is float, which is in decimal 14.5. So what are these? These are, if you look at these numbers, if you look at this text, you understand what it is. It is a text, it is a number, and it is a number with a decimal. So you can see and you can tell what these data are. So that is why they are called literals, because if you just look at them, you can literally say what they mean and what these are. But if I have to utilize this in the programming world to make a big software, to write a big application, or to even write a data science code, I need to store this data somewhere so that I can use it for longer period of time. So that I can use it permanently in that particular code, I need to save it somewhere. So the next step of from literal, we go to something called as a variable. What is variable? Variable is the second most basic component of the programming, where we do a very simple thing. Let's say this is 18, and 18 is what? Number. So I will write num is equal to 18. What I've done with this? This 18 is my data, which I'm going to use, but I have given it a reference, right? I have given basically it a name. So that with this name, with this reference, I will be able to identify my data wherever it is present in my memory. Now, what happens with when you write something like that? What happens in the background, in the memory? That is the most important thing for you to understand. So when you write num is equal to 18, what is happening is this. In our memory, some space will be taken. And in that space, the data is going to be stored, which I want to store. So 18 I want to store. Some space will be taken in our memory that there 18 has been placed. What is num doing here? Num is going to have the reference to that particular data. Num is going to like point to that particular data. If suppose there is a house, right? So house, that house will have an address. This house will have a location, right? In a city, in a town, in a colony, this house will have a certain address. So with the name of the house, or with the address of the house, or with the geographical location of that house, you can identify that house. Similarly, when my data is stored, this 18 is stored, it is stored in our memory, where a lot of other things are also stored. So how do I find out this particular data out of all the other ones? I have a reference, which is this where text num. So this is going to have the address of this 18. So when I say num, what it will do? It will go to that address and it will show you the data, which is 18 to us. Let us see that in the code format. Simply, I have to write num is equal to 18, just this much. No other thing I have to write. Whatever I want to do, just mention that. This is how simple Python is. In tomorrow's session and the other sessions, we will see how simple Python code is. You don't need to write anything extra. What you want to do, most of the code will feel like simple English syntax, that you are telling something to do in a very English-like statement, and that is being done. Again, you have to follow some syntax, but that will be very easy to understand. So when I say num is equal to 18, what has happened? In our memory, the data has been created, and num is a variable which is leading to that particular data. So if I want to see anytime 18, what I will do? I will write this num. So when I write num and I run it, you will observe that it is going to show you the data which is present inside of it. So num has no significance. Num is the only thing which is pointing you to that data so that you can utilize the data. What I can do with this data which I have stored, I can say num plus 10. So 10 will be added to the data that I have. 18 plus 10, I'm going to see 28. What I'm able to do, I'm able to take this data which I've stored and add something to it, multiply something to it, some sort of operation I'm able to do using that particular reference. So num plus 10, 28, I get the answer. This is called variable. So if you want to store something, we are going to use these variables, which are the storages. And with that, we will be able to use the data for longer period of time. Right, so this is the thing. And here we are going to stop the session for today because I'm not I have a throat issue. So tomorrow we will continue the same thing. and we will do a 2-hour session and we will have this in detail. Till the time, if possible, please do the installation of Anaconda. That is going to help you when you do the practice together in the same session. And you will enjoy that. Because if you look, you get bored. You never learn the coding thing by just looking at it. So it will be much better if you're writing along with me. Whatever, something you're writing, that will just keep your interest going. Right?
If you have any questions, guys, you can unmute your mic and you can ask your questions. Any doubts?
Right. I hope all of you must have enjoyed the session, right? Something you must have learned. The pace was good. The pace must have been okay for you. Any questions you have, anything, any doubt, whatever you want to ask, you can ask. Anything related to this or unrelated, any kind of doubt you have, you can ask. Anyone? All good, right? What we have seen today? The pace was good and everything was quite clear? Okay. Perfect.
Thank you very much, Shikhar. Thank you for your time. And thank you all for joining. Let's all meet tomorrow, same time at 8 p.m. IST. And if you do not have any questions, we can wrap up the session.